Hello, welcome everyone. Today I have two reasons for making this video. One is this is my first video using my new microphone that I just got, so please feel free to drop a comment about how the mic sounds in the video. And this microphone is the TONOR TC30 Plus. Hopefully I got the settings just right to get a good sound out of it here. And two, in Genshin Impact here, I'm going to be doing a showcase review for a Twitch streamer, MapleTreeGaming. I'll leave a link to her stream in the video description, so please do check her out. She's a variety streamer, and one of the games she plays is Genshin. So without further ado, let's bring up her list. She's offline now, just gotta find her. There she is. Okay, so first of all, I see she's AR 57. So that will kind of dictate how strict I am with her builds. The more chance you have to farm in the game, the higher AR you're going to be, and the better your builds I'm going to expect you to have. She's already completed 12-3 Abyss, so that's really good for AR 57, regardless if it wasn't full stars or not. So let's start with Raiden Shogun. I've only seen her Nahida so far. I didn't really look at any of the other characters just yet. Okay, so I see she's got fairly low attack power. I would think the catch, but that crit damage is too high for the catch, and ER is too low for the catch. So she's got to be using a different weapon other than that. She's going to be using a crit damage weapon. I'm going to guess probably Homa or the Black Bull one. She's got Electro Goblet. Yep, Staff Homa. Kind of figured it out. Now let's take a look at artifacts. Okay, 4-set emblem. That's perfect. On her on. This one, I would still probably continue farming emblem because she should get a bit more crit value out of this one here. But it's got good attack on it. That should help her out. A lot of Elemental Mastery. This she should probably refarm. This is an offset one, so I would probably recommend trying to find one that has more crit stats, attack, and energy recharge on it than what this has. Energy recharge sands, which you want. I know emblem is a real pain to farm. Now this is a decent goblet. I know, especially for it being on set, getting any kind of crit value on it is really hard for on set because of how hard it is to get just the electro damage main stat on this. A lot of rolls into flat defense here, unfortunately. She got one extra roll into crit damage. But yeah, she definitely needs the crit rate main stat, so that's okay. D0, that's fine. 8, 10, 10. She didn't slack on the talents, so that's good. Now, Nahida. 1042 Elemental Mastery. That tells me that she's likely going for a Bloom support build. There's 3 builds I know of for Nahida. She's got a spread DPS build, a Bloom support build, and a hybrid of the 2. So this looks like I'm going to presume 3 Elemental Mastery. Well, I did see 3 Elemental Mastery main stats, but not very much in the crits department here. So her personal damage may not be the highest for just the raw spread damage from her E-hits. 125 ER, that's a good spot for her that I find with mine. I'm still able to burst quite reliably with her. She's got her signature weapon, so that's a really good weapon for her. Good chunk of EM. And it even gives her, depending on what you have in the team, if you have more Dendro with her, it usually assumes you're doing either Aggravate or Bloom, so it'll give her EM. And when she's the only Dendro there, it'll give her a Dendro damage bonus, which is good for spread. So this is actually a really good weapon here. Artifact, 4-set Deepwood. That's perfect, because that makes her the shred, because usually you're using her as a support, and you need one character in the party to have Deep Wood. 63 EM, ER, so yeah, just EM, ER. EM, bit of attack, bit of crit. A lot of HP percent. Sands, EM main stat. Ooh, that's a lot of defense. Let's get some crit damage and energy recharge. It took me farming for my Sands on my Nahida all the way to patch 3.6 of farming nothing but Deepwood in order to get her a passable EM main stat Sands that was on set. So I feel the pain on that one. Goblet, EM main stat, 9.7 crit rate. This is, for AR, this is okay. A lot of attack power still. And EM main stat. Now, she does have a talent here that gives her a bit more. She'll get the 24% bonus crit rate on her E skill. So that'll put her up to 38%. Although it's still pretty low in the grand scheme. But as far as when she gets blooms and stuff, that's going to be really strong. She is C2. C1 kind of helps her burst a bit for increasing its effects. But C2 is really OP. It allows blooms to crit with a 2100 crit ratio. And it also, if you do spread, aggravate, or quicken damage on an enemy, it will shred 30% of their defense for 8 seconds. So a 30% defense shred, which is one of the strongest defense party shreds in game that applies to the whole party. Talents, 9, 10, 10. Definitely a good spot for her talents. I think she has one more on normal attack than what mine has, but if the 2 crowns she uses in good places. Let's take a look at Kazuha here. Okay. 898 Elemental Mastery. Look at that. Elite attack power. Just what we need to see. Definitely going for the EM build. That's a really good chunk of energy recharge on him. 166.7. Okay, Zephos. Nice. This is, in my opinion, one of his best in slot weapons that you can get, because it will actually give him energy recharge based on his EM, and also give energy recharge to the party as well. And let me take a look here, because the 166 he had before is not going to be accurate to what his true energy recharge is then. He has that weapon. So I believe his energy recharge should go up to close to 200%, 199%. With this weapon, since it's R1. Oh, needs to start working on Viridescent more. She needs the 4 set on him, because that's where you shred 40% resistances. And that is so big for him. Only 19 EM on this one. So Feather's a prime one to replace. Yeah, main stat. This one might be harder to replace. It's hard to get just energy recharge on substat. Yeah, this is fine. This can be level up again. Hopefully you get another roll in Elemental Mastery to bring that up to plus 60. But it's this plume that really needs to be replaced. If you can get EM main stat on this one on Viridescent Feather, that is going to be critical. But it looks like she may still be working on building him. C0, that's fine. He's OP at C0 anyways. 688. Yeah, he doesn't really need his talents leveled, because almost all of his damage is coming from scrolls with a full EM build. So this is more of a formality, but that's fine. Let's take a look at Lenny. 1703 attack. I think that's kind of low. 72, 176. Whether that's good or bad crit rate depends on his set. From my understanding, he didn't need much energy recharge. Fire damage goblet. He also doesn't need EM, so that's fine. Oh, a signature weapon. Nice. Artifacts. Looks... Okay, so it's still being built. And Foresight Hunter... You'll get 36 more crit rate from the 4-piece because he does sacrifice his health. And he's good at building up those stacks. So with 36 crit rate there, that puts her 8% crit rate over hard cap. So I would start sacrificing some of the crit rate on stats and going for more crit damage because that'll increase his output even more. So let's take a look at the stats that are on here. So I'll start with the flower. Only crit rate on it. There's not much on this. She still needs to farm. Yeah, this set is new out, so it's going to be hard to get a cohesive set together as well. I would definitely look into replacing this one here. There's only the crit rate and maybe a bit of the flat attack is useful for him, and that's about it. Feather, 18 crit damage. That's about 2 rolls into crit damage on top of that, and a bit of attack power. Let's hope that the plus 18 roll goes... Sorry, the plus 20 roll goes into crit damage. Dan's attack main stat, that's perfect. Only the crit damage here is useful. And it only has 1 extra roll into it, so this is one that I would look into replacing. Power damage bonus... Yeah, all 4 stats do help him out a bit here. And it's good main stat, so this is good. Oh, hurt on the defense. This will be okay for now. It's just you might get something later on, but I would recommend getting a crit damage circlet instead of crit rate, because you are already over hard crit cap for Lenny. Talents, 888. Okay, yeah, still working on that here. Is level 90 as well. So you might want to get him to, especially his normal attack, level 9. Alright, let's take a look at Iyaka. 1987 attack. First of all, I need to see what set she's on. Okay, so on 4-set Blizzard Strider. So on a freeze team, you usually run double cryo. So you get 15% crit rate from that, and this gives you another 40%. So she'll get 55% crit rate for free. So let's see her crit stats. Okay, so she's not going over crit cap. That's good. So 55... 91.1 crit rate with 186.1 crit damage.
A blade embraces
so
its
she's right at that golden 1 to 2 ratio from crit rate to crit damage. That's nice to see. Good chunk of energy recharge. I'm happy to see ER on Iyaka. Though probably about 140 is probably what you need. A little bit over, it's not going to be bad. It's just going to make it easier to make her burst more consistent. So that's actually good. Okay, cryo damage bonus, 61.6. Good. Weapon, Mist Splitter. Definitely her best in slot weapon here. Not going to complain at that. Is level 90 as well, perfect. Artifacts, let's see the stats. Actually, I'll start with Flower here. Bit of crit damage, energy charge, and flat attack. This could require a bit more farming. Feather, crit damage, energy charge, a big chunk of attack. Now with Iyaka, getting a lot of attack percent on her is actually really good, because quite often you don't run her with Bennett, because Bennett breaks freeze, and you want freeze because of the 4-set bonus of the set. So she doesn't usually get the attack power from other sources, aside from maybe Thrilling Tales if you're using like a Mona or Kokomi for your Hydro. So this does help out a lot. Next, attack percent. This is a good artifact. It's got energy recharge, a good amount of crit damage. The only thing that could make this better... Actually, you could put a crit rate on it because she's not crit capped yet, but this is pretty solid. Let's just hope that the last roll goes into crit damage. Crowd damage. No crit damage or attack at all on this. The only thing that's helping out is the energy recharge, which, since how high she is, she probably doesn't need the extra amount here, so I would recommend getting a new crowd damage goblet that has crit damage and attack power on it, preferably. But other than that, the substats aren't really helping her out here, and it's an offset too, so this should be one of the easier ones to replace. Helm, 3-1 crit rate. Lots of energy recharge. I probably would replace this too. If you do end up getting more crit rate on your artifacts for substats and when you're farming, you may be able to replace the crit rate circlet to a crit damage one instead and get yourself well over 200% crit damage to pair with Mistsplitter. So you'll be doing a lot more burst damage with her. Constellation, C0, okay. Talents, 999. Solid. Next, Yelan. First thing I'm noticing, she's only level 80. A lot of her stuff scales off of HP, and base HP does go up a fair amount, go from 80 to 90, so Yelan is one of the characters I would recommend getting to 90 for max scaling. See her stats here. Okay, it looks like she may be a work in progress. Energy recharge looks okay, although could use a bit more since depending on the constellations. But she really needs to work on these crit stats here. Weapon, Favonius Warbow. You get this 90, you'll get another around 5% more energy recharge. And this is going to be her best in slot free-to-play bow that you can get. Aqua Simulacra, I remember seeing Theory Crafters work out the math, because you have to adjust stats around so she has enough energy recharge on her stats still to be able to support it. It is only about an 8% gain of damage overall compared to Favonius Warbow. So this is one of the best bows you can get for. So glad to see it here. Artifacts, 4-set emblem. Yeah, artifacts not leveled. I'm not really going to look at them then in that case. So that's probably why she's so low in her stats. She's still definitely a work in progress. D0. As we're working on her talents at least. Her burst is definitely going to be her most important one to level. Next, Hu Tao. 13k HP, level 80. She's not built. Yeah, no artifacts, just as I suspected. Kokomi, 30k. Prototype Amber is a very solid weapon to give her. Of course, you can also use Throwing Tails with Dragon Slayer. It won't give her energy back when she uses her burst, but it'll still give her HP over here for scaling. And when you switch off of her to another character, if it's an R5 Throwing Tails, that's 48% attack power buff to the next character when you swap off of her. Great for use with the Yaka and such. Oshid Clam. Set built for her. Looks like still leveling the artifacts here. He doesn't need constellations. And still working on skills. Actually, let's see which direction you're going here. Elemental Mastery, okay. Elemental Mastery. HP. No, not healing bonus. I wonder, is this Kokomi going to be used in like a Nilou Bloom team? So, Yeah, because with the EM, she will often trigger a lot of the blooms, and so the bloom damage will be based off of her character level for Elemental Mastery, and also the buff that Nilu would give her, too, to help make it stronger. So that's where you'd see this kind of build come into play. I would still recommend to get more energy recharge with a Prototype Amber R5. I find that around 150% ER on her, she can regularly get her burst back if she's not staying on field the majority of the time, to where she can pop out her jellyfish, since with the jellyfish cooldown being around 12 seconds, or sorry, I'll have 12 seconds off time, and then with the cooldown with her burst and everything else, if she uses her burst when you have about 10 seconds remaining on the jellyfish cooldown, you'll actually extend the jellyfish up and for another time duration to where you can actually keep the jellyfish up 100% of the time. So you have to reliably have your burst back at that time in each rotation. So I'm not sure if 119 ER could actually pull that off here. But overall, pretty good. At Air 57, you're not going to have too much farm, like having... You'd still be trying to finish your first 2 full teams. And looking at the characters that's on the showcase here, there's no cohesive team here, so she's probably working on other characters that got them built. That's not showing on here. And there's clearly work being done on other characters on the showcase. So just keep up the farming. I know it can be overwhelming. Work on one character at a time. And once you finally flesh out your teams, you'll start finding that you'll be able to start smashing Floor 12 Abyss at 36 stars quite easily once you have everything built up. But you're doing pretty well so far. Name cards. Rain Shogun. Okay. I remember this one here. Zuma. Onset Reputation. Well, that's from Dragon Spine, I believe. The other name is doing Rep. Getting the tree to 48, so that's with Expiration. Oh, Challenger 3 series has been done. Nice. Alright, well, keep up the good work. So far, that's actually looking pretty decent for an Air 57 account, so you're doing quite well. And thank you for joining. If you'd like to get a bit of a review on your account, you can leave a thing in the description. I'll see what I can do. If I find any interesting accounts, I might do another video like this in the future. And have yourself a great day.